Thanks so much for tuning in. Today I want to give you my 10 best tips to become a better macro photographer. So let's cue that intro, get this video started. So if you're interested in macro photography right now, I would suggest a Sigma or a Tamron lens, depending on what camera system you've got. The Sigma 105mm f2.8, absolute beast of a lens. Otherwise, the Tamron SP 90mm f2.8, also an amazing lens. I currently use the Canon 100mm f2.8. It's the older generation from about 10 years ago. You can get the newer one, which is great. It's a 100mm stabilized f2.8 lens. So those three lenses I would definitely recommend. I'll put the links down in the description below. You can go check it out and see for yourself which one you would like to buy. Are you going to use your macro lens for outdoor nature photography? Say, for example, spiders, bees, bugs, wasps, those kinds of things. Find out when those insects are most active. Go out during that time. Most of the times you're going to find it's a struggle to shoot during the day, especially if it's sunny outside. Sunny days are probably not the best to shoot in. Overcast is always a winner. As long as you've got bright light to your disposal, you're going to be fine, because you're going to need to shoot at low f-stops, high shutter speeds, and make sure that everything's in focus and everything is pin sharp. As I said just now, if you're shooting outside, take a diffuser with you. You can buy a diffuser at any camera shop for next to nothing. They're not that expensive. Get someone to come with you and be your assistant for the day. Ask them to hold it above your subject so it just diffuses the light coming through, and you'll have great results. It'll look like an overcast day. So your depth of field is crucial. On a long lens like a macro lens, which typically extends from 50mm all the way to about 150mm or even more, you are going to want to shoot at something like f2.8 or lower, depending yet again on your lens, which means that if you're shooting at f2.8, you've got a shallow depth of field. We're talking about millimeters right here, which will make it incredibly difficult to focus. Either have a stabilized lens, which costs more, or maybe you want to up your aperture a bit to about f4 just to make sure you've got everything in focus. You never know, but that means bringing down your shutter again and bringing up your ISO, and you're gonna have to see which one works better. It all depends on your shot. Have fun with it and experiment and see what works the best. You're not going to learn anything by watching tons of guides on the internet. The best thing for you to do right now is to grab your camera and go out there and shoot. That's literally the best way you're going to learn photography. A good rule of thumb is to look at your lens. If it's a 100mm lens, times that by 2, you'll get the minimum shutter speed you should use. So if you're using a 100mm macro, times it by 2, you shouldn't be using a shutter speed less than 200th to 250th of a second. But don't go below 200, you will start getting camera shake. When you're outdoors in a park and you maybe stumbled across a snail and you thought that's a good shot to have, go down to the snail, get your composition right, get your distance right, try not to use your focusing ring on the actual lens than actually fumbling with your hand on the actual camera body. The best method I've found, rock backwards and forwards until you get your focus, stay there and try and get the shot that way. And also don't use autofocus. Autofocus doesn't work that well if you're focusing on small little details and they tend to move. Much easier to chase after bees when you're going handheld. You're going to be shooting at anything from 200th of a second to 400th of a second, and it's going to look fine. It's going to be sharp as long as you take into account all the tips that I've given you before this. If you go a handheld, it's going to be much easier to control out there in the field. Get out there and find unique angles that'll really help emphasize your subject. Don't be lazy and stand and shoot at a 45-degree angle. It never looks good. Get down on the same level as your subject and shoot eye level, or shoot from a slightly lower level up towards your subject. Shoot from your subject's front or its side. But whatever the case may be, just find a nice dynamic angle. You don't always need to go to the full magnification of your lens. If you've got a 100mm macro lens or anything larger, don't try and get as close to your subject every single time. Yes, there are circumstances that differ, and trust me, it does look really good when you go close to your subject, but sometimes context is necessary as well. You might be shooting a spider up close, you want to see the eyes, but what if he's busy spinning this beautiful web? Take a step back, see what it looks like. Maybe this is the difference between that nice little shot you can post on Instagram or that nice little shot that won you an award. So we've got the top 10 tips for macro photography out the way now. We're firstly going to go outside and check what we can shoot. Maybe I'll find a few bugs in the garden and get some cool shots. And after that, we're just going to come back inside, build up a little set and shoot a nice controlled photograph. Okay, so we're back inside now, and I've just got a few things that I gather around the house. I've got two LED lights. These are standard purpose LED lights. You can get them at any hardware store. I've got a normal pan that you put in the oven. I've got a flash just in case the LEDs don't do what I want to do. And then I've got a clamp that I'm going to use on this flower. This is a standard little flower. I'm going to just clamp the stem like that, and then I'm going to fill this pan with water, and then I'm just going to put this in there so it kind of stands out the water. You're going to see a nice reflection. It's very basic, it's very simple. I think it's cool as a macro photo, and we're just going to use the LEDs to light it. Right, so let's get started. I'm going to fill this pan up quick. All right, okay, do not spill water on electronics. Do not spill water on electronics. All right, cool, now we've got our pan. I'm just going to cut the stem down a little bit, maybe to about there from now. There. I'm just going to clamp the bottom. I'm going to drop some food coloring in here, possibly quite a bit, and it's going to darken up the water and we won't see the bottom of it, and it'll give us nice clear reflections. I mean, alternatively, if you don't want to mess around with food coloring, you can use black cloth, black material, which is normally what I'd use. Let's test this out. Cue the cinematic B-roll. Alright, so we've got everything set up. The reflection's looking great right now, so I'm loving this. I think this LED light does give enough power. We've got a second one here, so I can increase the power. So let's see here. Yeah, it looks good for handheld, so we should be all right. All right, rad. So I think we're good. Obviously not the shot that I wanted. I'm thinking more of a level approach. I'm gonna need a backdrop, so I'm gonna see what I can do for the backdrop situation. Piece of paper. Got my hot water there. I don't really know how much coffee you're supposed to add. I just kind of added like 3 or 4 spoons. Take a piece of paper. I'm just gonna dip it in like this and hope it doesn't break. If you have a bigger pan, use a bigger pan. Oh, it smells so good. Might just make myself a cup of coffee after this. Definitely the vibe I was going for. I'm just gonna leave this in here for a bit. Let it soak a bit more. Brought in a few other things that I just found lying on the floor. I just want to see what it looks like if I just let them drift there. Basically that is it. It's all about just experimenting and finding the right kind of solution to the image. See what works, see what doesn't work. It's all trial and error. So I think I got the shot and I'm relatively happy with it. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I really hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed doing this. If you like these kind of videos, let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to do more of them. Give it a like, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll see you in the next one.